What does disinformation look like in the 2020 election? For the past few months, many Hispanic American voters have seen reports and images trying to tie Joe Biden to socialism. For instance, this photo has been floating around on social media. It claims to be Jill Biden next to Fidel Castro. But in fact, this is false. It's actually a photo of late Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl and his wife, Jacqueline Beer.
There's a general disinformation, misinformation campaign going on in Florida and nationwide, really. Seeing it very specifically, of course, here in a target of the Latino population in particular, and even more specifically targeting Venezuelans and Cubans, who are the most sensitive to the socialism issue, for example. Those scars are raw there. Disinformation is when you are absolutely giving people information that is false.
As the presidential election inches closer, Spanish-language disinformation spreading online is intensifying and targeting Latino communities using outlets like WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, and talk radio.
Quiere destruir Joe Biden y su cúpula la Fundación Cristiana de los Estados Unidos de América para reemplazarla con la religión hindú de Kamala Harris.
Caracol management told NBC News that the program was canceled after this broadcast. Dr. Eduardo Gamarra claims that the disinformation comes from conspiracy theories and groups like QAnon on the far right.
These messages have moved some groups who are historically Democrats now to vote for President Trump.
I decided to change my party from Democrat to Republican, so I'm voting for Trump. On 2016, when I decided to vote for the Democratic Party, it's because the information that I have, it was like a different information that I have now. And especially in the Cuban community, I got a reference from Alex Otaola that for me is the voice that we have right now.
Arlene says she gets most of her news from right-wing Cuban-American actor turned YouTube star Alex Otaola, who's urging Cubans in Florida to vote for Trump.
Este noviembre, ya a partir de hoy, vota republicano.
Like Arlene, Otaola was a Democrat that voted for Clinton in 2016 and is now voting for Trump. His show, which broadcasts live on YouTube, typically gets over 100,000 views per episode, and it promotes the narrative that the Democratic Party is a socialist party.
Kamala acaba de decir que estamos en medio de una crisis de hambre, que la gente tiene hambre. Y cuando tú buscas hambre en Estados Unidos, te salen los medios de Cuba, los medios comunistas, hablando de eso, la línea directa, acceso directo.
We come here, especially me, that I'm coming from a communist country. I know what it is in my own skin, and I don't want that for United States.
And how do you know that the information that he's providing is factual?
He has a lot of followers. It's because he's saying the truth.
Alex Otaola didn't reply to NBC News' request for comment.
Venezuelans and Cubans are coming from an environment in which the mainstream media is not trusted, primarily because the governments back home just completely hobbled it. Few remaining media outlets are pretty much state-controlled or at least docile. I think a lot of Venezuelans and Cubans turn to WhatsApp, they turn to Facebook in order to derive their news and their information.
Lucas is a member of Venezolanos con Biden, a coalition of Venezuelan Americans supporting Joe Biden. Lucas runs the group social media, working to provide the community with facts and disapprove the disinformation spreading.
Venezolanos con Biden came up with a guide against misinformation. It has a list of myths about Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. I fled Venezuela with my family. I know very well what authoritarianism looks like. We can't have democracy without some shared idea of the truth.
A record 32 million Latinos are eligible to vote this election, the largest block of non-white voters, and it could play a pivotal role in swing states like Arizona, Florida, and North Carolina. The spread of disinformation has been rampant in Florida, a state where Trump has seen increased support amongst Latinos. A recent FIU poll found that 56% of recent Cuban immigrants were planning to vote for Trump, up from 22% in 2016.
A good critique of both parties actually has been a neglect of the Latino vote, in the sense that they've grouped all Latinos together. The Mexican vote is very different from the Venezuelan vote. The Venezuelan vote is very different from the Colombian vote. We have clearly a shared sense of culture and kinship, but also some policy differences that we bring from back home.
I think this is here to stay unless our legislators find a way to make sure that disinformation or misinformation is being propagated through social media. It's not going to go away after this election unless something serious is done.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.